It's here. It's finally here. Yes. 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 What is up, Greedy Guts? It's your boy, Big Umami, coming through with a brand new video about the brand new SP-404MK2. I've ordered this end of November and it's now February, so that was fast. It only took 4 months, but you know, we all know why. There's been a chip shortage all around the world. PS5s are still, back ordered for like years and years and years and whatever. Putin declared war on Ukraine, so we got that going on, which is just great. But there is a ray of sunshine in my life, and that is, well, my daughter first, but for the purpose of this video, this is the ray of sunshine I'm talking about. So I don't usually show my face on this channel, and I don't show my studio for good reason, because it's shit. I decided to bring out the big guns today. And speaking of big guns, the sample that I've chosen to use today, it's a Nina Simone sample, which is probably being used by like thousands of much better, more famous, more talented producers than me, but I don't. I mean, I was listening to it the other day and it sounded awesome, and I was like, when the MK2 comes in the mail, that's the shit that I'm gonna sample first. That's right. So without further ado, let's get into it. So we have our main sample and we pitch it down 6 semitones in order not to get a copyright strike. Please and thank you, YouTube gods. I'm gonna copy it from pad 1 to pad 2, because it's always nice to have the original uncut sample somewhere. I'm going into chop mode by pressing Shift, Start, then I slice the main sample pressing the pads consecutively. We can then adjust the trim points for each slice using the 3 control knobs on top of the machine. I'm pretty happy with the result, so now I'm gonna commit to these slices by pressing Enter, then Mark to distribute the slices to the available pads, then Enter again. A bit convoluted if you ask me, but it does do the job. And of course, I'm only now realizing that I want the sample pitched down even more. But I've already committed to the slices, so now I'm gonna have to go and pitch them down one by one. That's great. Anyway, it's done now. So now that we have our slices, we can make a pattern pressing pattern select and record. It's gonna start the metronome automatically. Select a slot, adjust the BPM. I'm going for 96 BPM. 2 bars of length and 100% quantization. Press record. It's gonna count me in and it's recording now. I'm gonna press record again and go into rehearsal mode. I press record again and I'm back in. And still, I got it wrong, obviously. I'm going back into recording and overdubbing the deleted notes. Hopefully, I won't up this time. And it's done. Now we need some drum sounds. Let's import them from my SD card by pressing Shift plus 14. Click Import from SD card and then Sample. Once you get into the folder, you click on this knob to enter, you scroll to find what you're looking for, and you preview the sounds with the subpad. And here I found a snare rim shot thing that I like. I want it in pad 14, so I press pad 14 and then click on enter. I'm gonna repeat this process for all the drum sounds and it's gonna be boring as so I'll skip this part. And through the magic of editing, you can see now I have all of my drum sounds in bank B. Let's play around and see what we got. I like this. Let's overdub some drums into a new pattern now. I don't want to overwrite pattern 1, I want to create a copy of it, so that I can start building some kind of a song structure. First thing I'm gonna do is record this shaker. It's gonna be in fourths, so I select fourths quantization and set the strength to 100%. I also like this other shaker sound, so I'm gonna overdub it now. And finally, I'm gonna lay some snares as well. For the kicks, I'm gonna copy pattern 2 to 3. It's quite useful to have a pattern without the kicks. Also, I'm loosening the quantization for the kicks, setting the grids to 30 seconds and the quantization to 33%. And it sounds pretty good. So let's see if we have any other sounds that we like. I'm gonna put all of the hi-hats into a dedicated mute group. Now let's create a new copy of the pattern and record these hats. Alright, let's find some bass now. Shift plus 14 again and select from the SD card. I've selected a few sounds here. Let's see which one sounds best. And now we record it. Let's add a second note. Now that we have this pattern, I like to make a variation by reversing these two slices. Let's go back to pattern mode. I'll need to make a copy of pattern 4, but first let's move pattern 5 by using exchange 5 to 6 in order to make space for a copy of number 4. Let's also copy pads 10 and 14 now, selecting bank F and copying them there. We press reverse. Now we have to delete pad 10 and 14 from the last bit of the pattern. In order to do that, we need to go into recording, select delete, and hold pads 10 and 14 while they're playing the notes that we don't want anymore. Now we can overdub these new reverse sounds. Also, I like to take the kick out just in the last part. Cool. I think it's time to do some mixing actually. The kick drum is too weak. Let's put some 303 vinyl on it. Now we're talking. We're gonna resample this into bank D. And would you hear that? I was afraid that the MK2 would lose some of the grit of the original 404, but it really didn't. That noise at the end of the sample, that's technically wrong, it shouldn't be there, but it's one of the reasons why people like the 404 so much and find it so recognizable. So I'm glad, they kind of keep that in there. So we can exchange the resample kick with the old one and then we should be good to go. That's a bit too aggressive, I think. Let's EQ this using isolator and resample this again. Now it's clipping a little bit, so let's go into the waveform and trim it. There. Next, I like to put all the slices from the main sample into a bus and apply vinyl simulation to them. Also, the main sample is a bit too overpowering in the mix, so we're gonna have to check the volumes on all of the slices individually. So these are our slices, they're all going to bus 1. Let's go ahead and select vinyl sim. And let's turn all of the individual volumes down from 127 to like 90. And one thing you have to look out for with the MK2 is that when the value shown on the screen doesn't match with the position of the actual knob, you have to physically move the knob up to that value in order to actually affect the parameter you want to affect. Let's import one last sound, like a siren effect. Now let's go into pattern mode, press hold and select a chain. This will allow you to chain patterns, kind of like in a song mode. and it frees up your hand to play effects and trigger one-shot sounds like the one I just imported. I'm gonna punch in some patterns now, and to play the whole song you press the sub pad. All done. We've been working on this bit for a second now, so I'm just gonna jam for a bit if you don't mind. If you came this far, there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't like, subscribe and click on the video that is now appearing on the screen. Come on now, stop freeloading and do the right thing.